the largest prisons in Texas, inside America's massive incarceration system. In the state of Texas, incarceration operates on a scale that's difficult to grasp until you see it up close. We're talking about prison complexes so large they function like small cities, facilities that house thousands of inmates behind a single perimeter. Entire units spread across hundreds, sometimes thousands of acres, guarded, monitored, and structured with military precision. But size alone doesn't tell the full story. Because behind those walls are systems shaped by decades of policy, population growth, crime trends, and controversial justice reforms. Some of these prisons were built during a massive expansion era in the 1980s and 1990s. Others still reflect older models of incarceration, where overcrowding, labor programs, and security concerns intersect in complex ways. And today, Texas runs one of the largest prison systems in the United States, overseen by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, commonly known as TDCJ. This is not a story about myths or exaggerations. This is a factual, verified look inside the largest prisons in Texas. How big they really are, how they operate, and what life looks like inside them. Because when a prison holds thousands of people in one place, the scale changes everything. From daily routines, to security challenges, to the human experience behind bars. And as we go deeper, one question begins to emerge. What does it actually take to run one of the largest prison systems in America, and at what cost?
Before we dive into today's powerful story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more gripping tales. Your support helps us keep sharing these stories, and we wouldn't want you to miss any of the action. Now, let's get started.
The scale of Texas prisons. To understand the largest prisons in Texas, you first need to understand the system they belong to. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice, TDCJ, is one of the biggest correctional systems in the United States. As of publicly available reports, it oversees over 100 facilities including prisons, state jails, and transfer units. At its peak in the early 2000s, Texas incarcerated more than 150,000 individuals in state prisons alone, making it one of the highest incarceration rates in the country. Even today, despite some decline, the system still houses well over 100,000 inmates, depending on the year and reporting period. But here's where it gets even more striking. Some individual prison units in Texas hold more than 3,000 inmates each. That's not a facility. That's a population. And unlike smaller prisons in other states, Texas facilities are often built with expansion in mind, meaning multiple housing units, work programs, medical centers, and security layers all exist within a single complex. These prisons are categorized into different types: maximum security units, medium custody units, state jails for lower-level offenses, transfer facilities, medical and psychiatric units. But when we talk about the largest prisons, we're focusing on those with the highest inmate populations and the biggest physical footprints. And at the top of that list, there are a few names that stand out immediately. Facilities that have become central to the Texas prison system. Facilities that, in some cases, have been operating for decades. Facilities that house thousands, and in some cases, define entire local economies around them. The Polunsky Unit, one of Texas' most significant facilities. When discussing the largest and most well-known prisons in Texas, one facility is almost always part of the conversation: the Allred Polunsky Unit, located in Livingston, Texas. This prison isn't just large, it plays a unique role in the entire state correctional system. Opened in 1993, the Polunsky Unit was designed as a maximum security facility, and it currently houses thousands of inmates, including some of the most closely monitored individuals in the state. But what makes Polunsky stand out isn't just its size. It's what happens inside. The facility is home to Texas' male death row population. Every inmate sentenced to death in Texas is held at the Polunsky Unit under highly controlled conditions. Unlike general population housing, death row inmates are typically held in single cells, with extremely limited movement and interaction. This creates a very different internal structure compared to other large prisons. Instead of large dormitories, you have segregated housing, strict routines, and constant monitoring. The security level here is among the highest in the state. And because of that, Polunsky operates with layers of control that go far beyond standard prison protocols. At the same time, the facility also houses non-death row inmates, making it a multifunctional maximum security unit. This combination, size, security level, and specialized housing, makes Polunsky one of the most significant prisons in Texas. But it also raises ongoing discussions about conditions, policies, and how high-security incarceration is managed in the state. The Coffield Unit, the largest prison in Texas. If we're talking strictly about size, one facility stands above the rest. The Coffield Unit, located near Tennessee Colony, Texas. This is widely recognized as the largest prison in Texas, and not by a small margin. The Coffield Unit has a reported capacity of over 4,000 inmates, making it one of the largest single-unit prisons in the entire United States. To put that into perspective, that's comparable to the population of a small town, contained within a secured perimeter. Opened in 1965, Coffield is one of the older major units in Texas, and over time, it has expanded significantly to accommodate growing inmate populations. The facility includes multiple housing units, agricultural operations, work programs, medical services, administrative buildings. Like many Texas prisons, Coffield operates on a labor-based system, where eligible inmates may work in various roles, ranging from maintenance to agricultural production. Historically, Texas has been known for its use of inmate labor, particularly in farming operations, a practice that continues in some capacity today. Because of its size, Coffield faces challenges that smaller prisons simply don't. Managing thousands of inmates requires complex scheduling, high staffing levels, strict security coordination, and any disruption, whether operational or security-related, can have large-scale consequences. Despite its scale, Coffield is considered a standard correctional unit, meaning it houses a mix of custody levels rather than specializing in one category like death row, which makes its size even more significant. Because it's not just large, it's large and diverse in population. Why Texas built such large prisons? To understand why Texas has some of the largest prisons in the country, you have to go back several decades. Specifically, to the 1980s and 1990s. During this period, Texas experienced a sharp rise in incarceration rates, driven by tougher sentencing laws, mandatory minimums, increased enforcement of drug-related offenses. At the same time, the state faced federal court pressure to address overcrowding and prison conditions. In response, Texas launched one of the largest prison construction expansions in U.S. history. Dozens of new facilities were built. Existing units were expanded. And many of these were designed to hold thousands of inmates each, rather than building smaller, distributed facilities. The goal was efficiency, centralization, and the ability to scale quickly. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Texas had built a prison system capable of housing well over 150,000 inmates. And many of the largest prisons operating today, like Coffield and Polunsky, either expanded or became central during this era. But while the expansion solved overcrowding at the time, it also created a long-term system built around large-scale incarceration. And that's something policymakers, researchers, and the public are still debating today. So far, we've looked at some of the biggest names in the Texas prison system. But Coffield and Polunsky are only part of the story. Because across Texas, there are multiple massive facilities, each with its own role, structure, and challenges. Some are built for maximum security. Others focus on medical care. And some operate like entire industrial complexes behind prison walls. The Michael Unit, scale, security, and structure. As we move deeper into the largest prisons in Texas, another major facility stands out for both its size and operational complexity. The Michael Unit, located in Tennessee Colony, Texas, part of a region that hosts multiple large correctional facilities clustered within close proximity. Opened in 1987, the Michael Unit was built during the early wave of Texas prison expansion era. Today, it holds over 3,000 inmates, placing it among the largest prisons in the state. But what makes this unit particularly significant is how it blends size with high-security operations. The Michael Unit is classified as a maximum security facility, meaning it houses inmates across some of the highest custody levels in the Texas system. Inside, the structure is divided into multiple controlled zones, including high-security cell blocks, restricted housing areas, general population sections, administrative segregation units. This layered design allows the facility to manage a diverse inmate population while maintaining strict security protocols. And like many large Texas prisons, the Michael Unit operates with a focus on internal labor and structured routines. Daily life inside is highly scheduled. Movement is controlled, access is limited, and operations are tightly monitored. Facilities of this size require significant staffing coordination, and even small disruptions can affect thousands of individuals at once. The Michael Unit has also been referenced in various reports and media coverage over the years, particularly in discussions about inmate conditions. Use of administrative segregation. Staffing challenges within large prison systems. While these issues are not unique to one facility, they highlight the broader reality of managing prisons at this scale. Because when a single unit houses thousands, every policy decision, every operational shift, has amplified impact. The Estelle Unit, history and population size. Next on the list is one of the older and most historically significant prisons in Texas, the W.J. Estelle Unit located in Huntsville, Texas. Opened in 1930, Estelle is one of the oldest continuously operating prison units in the state. But despite its age, it remains one of the largest in terms of inmate population. Today, the Estelle Unit houses thousands of inmates, typically exceeding 3,000 individuals, depending on classification and capacity adjustments over time. What makes Estelle unique is how it combines historical infrastructure with modern prison operations. Unlike newer facilities built during the expansion era, Estelle has undergone multiple renovations and adjustments over decades, adapting to changes in security standards, inmate population levels, correctional policies. The unit is classified primarily as a maximum security facility, and it includes specialized areas such as psychiatric and mental health services, administrative segregation housing, general population units. Estelle has played a significant role in Texas correctional history, particularly during periods when the state faced scrutiny over prison conditions and overcrowding. In past decades, it has been mentioned in federal court cases and investigative reports examining prison operations in Texas. Today, it continues to function as a major intake and housing unit within the TDCJ system. But operating an older facility at this scale comes with challenges. Maintaining infrastructure, ensuring safety, and adapting to modern standards, all while housing thousands of inmates, requires constant oversight and resources. The Ramsey Unit, agriculture and large-scale operations. Not all large prisons in Texas operate the same way. Some, like the Ramsey Unit, combine incarceration with large-scale agricultural production. Located in Rocheron, Texas, the Ramsey Unit houses over 3,000 inmates, making it one of the largest facilities in the state. Originally established in the early 20th century, the Ramsey Unit has deep historical ties to Texas prison farm system, a model where inmate labor was used extensively for agricultural work. While policies and practices have evolved over time, elements of this system still exist today. At Ramsey, inmates may be assigned to work in farming operations, livestock management, facility maintenance, industrial programs. This creates a structure where daily life includes not just confinement, but also labor-based routines. The use of inmate labor in Texas has been the subject of ongoing public discussion and academic research, particularly around compensation policies, working conditions, historical context. It's important to note that these programs are governed by state policies, and participation can depend on classification, eligibility, and facility needs. From a structural standpoint, Ramsey is designed to support both housing and large-scale operational activity, making it different from purely confinement-focused units. But like other large prisons, it still faces the core challenge: managing thousands of individuals within a controlled environment, while maintaining security, order, and operational continuity. The Allred Unit, high-capacity confinement. Another major facility that ranks among the largest in Texas is the James V. Allred Unit located in Iowa Park, Texas. Opened in 1995, during the peak of Texas prison expansion era, the Allred Unit was specifically designed for high-capacity incarceration. It houses approximately 3,500 to 4,000 inmates, depending on classification and operational adjustments, placing it among the largest facilities in the state. The Allred Unit is classified as a maximum security prison, and like other large facilities, it is structured into multiple housing areas with varying levels of restriction. Inside, the facility includes high-security housing units, segregation areas, general population sections, medical and support services. Because of its size and design, Allred operates with a focus on efficiency and centralized control. Movement is scheduled, access is regulated, and security is layered across the entire complex. Facilities like Allred are often used to house inmates with higher custody classifications, which can increase the complexity of daily operations. And like many large prisons in Texas, it has been referenced in public reports discussing broader issues such as staffing shortages, inmate safety concerns, operational challenges within large-scale facilities. Again, these are system-wide discussions, not limited to one unit, but they highlight the realities of managing prisons of this size. The role of clustered prison complexes. As we've mentioned earlier, several of Texas' largest prisons are located near each other, especially in regions like Tennessee Colony, Huntsville, Rocheron. This is not accidental. Texas has intentionally developed clustered prison complexes, where multiple large units are built within the same geographic area. For example, in Tennessee Colony alone, you'll find several major facilities including Coffield Unit, Michael Unit, other nearby TDCJ units. This clustering allows for shared resources, centralized staffing, coordinated transportation, medical and administrative support across facilities. In many cases, these prison clusters become major economic centers for surrounding communities, providing jobs and infrastructure tied directly to the correctional system. But clustering also creates challenges. Because when multiple large prisons operate in close proximity, staffing shortages can affect multiple units at once. Security incidents can have wider regional impact. Infrastructure demands increase significantly. This model reflects Texas' broader approach to incarceration: build large, centralize operations, scale efficiently. But as the system evolves, some experts and policymakers continue to question whether this model remains sustainable long-term. So far, we've covered some of the largest and most complex prison units in Texas. But there's still more to uncover. Because size isn't just about numbers, it's about impact. If you made it this far, you've just seen how massive and complex the largest prisons in Texas really are. From facilities holding thousands, to systems built to manage entire populations behind walls, this is a scale few people ever truly understand. If you found this breakdown informative, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the Unspoken Stories, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into real prison systems and true crime stories. And if there's a specific prison or topic you want us to cover next, drop it in the comments. Because there's always more beneath the surface. See you in the next episode.